The last stray, the one who watched. The night was quiet, the air heavy with the scent of rain. Marian walked through the empty streets of Willowbrook, carrying a bag of milk from the corner store. The dim streetlights flickered as a cold wind brushed past her, making her pull her coat tighter around herself. Then she stopped. At the corner of the street stood a dog, a golden retriever, its fur slightly matted, eyes glowing a strange shade of amber, silent, still, watching. Marian frowned. She had lived in this town all her life and knew every pet, every stray. But she had never seen this dog before. "Hey, buddy," she whispered. "Where did you come from?" The dog did not move. It did not wag its tail, did not bark. It just stared. A strange unease crawled up Marian's spine. She had been around dogs all her life, but something about this one felt wrong. Then, slowly, the dog took a step backward. Then another. And then it turned and walked away, disappearing into the mist. Marian hesitated only a moment before her feet started moving on their own. And she followed. Willowbrook was a small town where everyone knew everyone. But over the next few days, something strange started happening. That golden dog, always silent, always still, began appearing everywhere. Outside the library, near the school, by the church doors, and every time it appeared, someone would follow it, and they would never come back. At first, the town searched, the police investigated, families grieved. But then, something even stranger happened. People started forgetting the missing, forgetting their names, forgetting they had ever existed. Marian, who had once been only curious, now felt something deeper: fear. And then, one night, the dog appeared at her doorstep. Marian peeked through the curtains. The dog was sitting outside, motionless, its glowing amber eyes locked onto her door. Then, she heard it. A soft knock. Her breath hitched. She opened the door and no one was there. When she turned back to the window, the dog was gone. That night, she didn't sleep. And by morning, she had made up her mind. She had to know the truth. Just outside the town lay an old, forgotten forest where few dared to go. Every person who had disappeared had been seen heading in that direction. Marian tied her boots, grabbed a flashlight, and stepped into the trees. The deeper she went, the colder it got. The silence was unnatural. Then, through the mist, she saw it. The golden dog. It stood still, waiting. She swallowed hard. "What are you?" The dog dipped its head, as if answering. Then, it turned and walked deeper into the woods. Marian hesitated only a moment before following. The path led to a small, hidden pond. The water was impossibly still, reflecting the moon like glass. And then, Marian saw them. Faces in the water. The missing people. Their eyes were wide with silent pleas, their mouths open as if screaming, but no sound came. Marian stumbled back, heart pounding. This isn't real." The dog watched her, unmoving. Then, for the first time, it made a sound. A soft, sorrowful whimper. And with that sound, the faces in the water began to fade, one by one, until they were gone, as if they had never existed. Marian stared at the dog, horror sinking deep into her bones. This was no ordinary animal. This was something older. Something endless. All those people erased from time, from memory. And now, she knew. She was next. She turned and ran. Behind her, the dog remained still, watching. But she knew this wasn't over. It never was. Months later, in a different town, outside a small cafe, a golden dog sat, silent and still, watching. And inside, a young girl noticed it. Curious, she stood up, stepping toward the door. Because some stories never end.